welcome to another episode of Covered with the Utah FOP. I'm your host, Brent Rawson. I'm still dressed like I slept under a bridge. Danny really made fun of me in that last episode.
He did.
Yeah.
He did.
Yeah, well, I deserved it. I'm really contemplating shaving the beard, to be honest with you.
Don't shave the beard, but you could
dress better?
Not better.
Now that we're on video.
You're a pretty snazzy dresser most of the time.
Are we on video for this one, Trav? Yeah, we're. Oh, wow.
Here's the thing. I just need you to care less about what people think.
Okay. You need me to do that?
Yeah, care less about how you look or how.
No, I'm worried what Kevin thinks.
Yeah, there you go.
Kevin doesn't like me. Are you saying you'll like me? Oh,
grow a mullet out.
Yeah, right.
You show me that you care less.
If you grow a mullet, you're cured of that problem.
Go.
Do it.
Me?
A mullet.
I have responsibilities. I have to look up.
You can just tuck the mullet in your collar.
You have to look at certain part. That's why you grow the mullet.
Everybody
the front. You're just fine.
You know, there was
just don't turn around in court.
When I first when I was a young cop.
Yeah.
There was a guy that was he worked for the public defender's office.
Mm-hmm.
And he always wore these just bright, flashy suits. I mean, it was just like, and he had this red curly hair that went with it. And he was a good guy. I mean, and really good attorney, but you always knew, I wish I could remember his name, but you always knew where he was.
Carrot Top. That's his name.
He was short. He wasn't, he wasn't ripped like Carrot Top is.
Well, that was later in his career. Carrot Top wasn't
that's right.
Ripped.
He was
kind of
slight
scrawny
back in the day.
Yeah. He really hit the. I'll bet he used conditioned supplements.
I'll bet he used conditioned supplements.
Who doesn't use conditioned supplements?
You'd have to be a fool.
I'll tell you what.
To.
This last week we were in Nashville with Joe Gamaldi.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Joe. And Joe uses conditioned supplements.
Yeah.
And I think Travis got video, but I'm like, man, for such a small package to be that ripped, it kind of reminded me that
you're announcing here on this podcast that you have compromising pictures of Joe Gamaldi?
No, Travis does.
Oh, okay.
But he showed them to me.
Wow.
There he is. Look. Now that's something.
Yeah.
Why is he naked on your iPhone,
conditioned supplements?
Is that in front of a crowd of people?
Conditioned supplements. That's all you need to know.
Oh, what a great commercial. Yeah, I wish the viewers could see that.
Well, if you go to Joe Gamaldi's Instagram or Facebook page,
well, good for Joe.
He'll post them.
Yeah.
But other than conditioned supplements, I don't know what else he does.
I don't know.
He eats a lot of meat.
Does he? He's one of those? Yeah,
he's one of those.
I've tried that.
No, he's a real clean eater. Something that I am not.
I don't believe it.
I think you've got a choice. You can be happy or you can eat clean. I choose to be happy.
I choose happiness.
Me too.
Life is way too short to eat too clean. It's the truth. These guys that boil chicken breasts and have it with broccoli. I don't get those guys.
Now smoked chicken.
No,
smoked chicken with barbecue and a little bit of mac and cheese on the side, and maybe even some green beans or baked beans.
You know my affinity for mac and cheese.
I do.
And if it's on the menu, I have to try it.
Yeah.
And we found a new place in Nashville called the Peg Leg Porker.
Oh, wow.
That was
reminds me of my prom date.
Oh,
we gotta cut. No, we gotta cut that.
Loves everybody. That's the thing that we love about Brett.
We gotta cut that.
Oh, see, now would be a good time for the dad joke.
Yeah, bring it out.
Okay, since Brett opened the door.
Oh no.
Anyway, the Peg Leg Porker's got really, really good mac and cheese and banana pudding. So I came across this joke last night, and I shared it with Katie, and I was tired. I was exhausted. I mean, it's been a long several weeks, and I was laughing so hard that I could barely even get it out, and I had to take a little break between the setup and then the punchline. Now, I'm going to tell it to you, and I'm hoping that you laugh like I did yesterday.
Yeah.
Or like we just did at your peg leg porker joke.
I want to apologize to Trina if you're out there. That's not what I think about you. You're beautiful. Anyway.
We're investigators. Let's track her down.
No, please don't do that.
Oh,
yeah.
You know what? We could.
We could.
Good
It'd be
luck.
like a cold case.
Don't. It's so
A cold case.
So cold.
And we'll bring her in for the next podcast.
Oh,
Yes.
We'll be like Maury Povich.
Yes, we would actually, to make it work, we'll bring in Jen too. We'll have them sit on either
perfect.
side of them.
Yes.
She will just be mad that I said those words. Like, she won't care who it's
And
directed at.
Trav can be the who was that Chicago cop that was on the bald guy that was on what's his name? Remember the old Cincinnati mayor that had
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I can picture him.
what was his name?
I don't know. Having a senior moment. I don't know.
This is bad.
I don't know. Yeah, it happens.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Anyway, okay, so
There you
guys,
were.
there I was. There I was. Now I want to make it clear that unlike Brett, I was not there for this joke. This is just a retell. Anyway, so lady comes home, tells her husband that 3 women at her office received these big bouquets of flowers, and they were absolutely gorgeous. He looks at her and says, "That's probably why they got them." So, a little step up from
We're winning big with the ladies on this one.
Jerry Springer.
Jerry.
Is the name of the guy.
Oh, that guy. Okay.
And I believe the bouncer's guy's name was Steve.
That's right. It was
big bald
Steve.
guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he had to, if I remember right, he had to quit the force to continue making the big bucks.
Tell the folks what you were doing in Nashville. I think that's interesting.
So we went every year. The National FOP hosts a wellness seminar and leadership training for the week, and it was spectacular. We had we started off on the wellness side. Sherry Martin has been doing some awesome work. In fact, the FOP is announcing. Well, she announced at the conference the Power in Peers, which is an FOP, an IACP collaboration on best practices for peer support. And so we heard from a variety of administrators. She had a panel with Nashville's chief Drake, and the retired chief, who is the IACP chairman over their wellness committee. It was really good. And then obviously the leadership component, where you get into the down and dirty. If you're a treasurer or a secretary, it's the laundry list of things that you get to keep up on.
Yeah.
And also the IRS penalties if you don't.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
There were a couple of guys in there. In fact, I think Trav talked to one that was a little shell shocked with everything, but he talked him down. Just really, really good training.
More importantly, did you get a hug from Kelly Pickler this time?
No, thank you for bringing that up.
But you were in proximity, I heard. At least possibly.
Gonna be, and she.
Oh, okay. She heard her security found out, and that was it. Huh?
No, I was right outside her door. All she had to do was open it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you know that restraining orders in Tennessee are like, it's just a one pager?
Wow. So much, they can fit so
A lot
much
for
into,
interpretation, right?
What? Yeah,
That's what I like about it.
Oh, it's
I'm like, there's a
8-point
ton
font.
of gray area in here.
Sure.
I did
believe
tell
she
him.
went off on it.
I did tell him that I was happy or I asked him if he got a kiss from her, because I'd take it by proxy if he did.
What part
Thankfully,
of
he
1,000 feet do you not understand? That's what I want to know.
1,000 feet's really not that far. It's really not.
Did you get over to Love's? Did you make it? Yeah.
Couple of times.
Tell the people about that place.
If you're in Nashville, you have got to find Loveless Cafe.
If you're not at the Peg Leg Porker, make your way out of town.
You can go to both.
In the same day?
I'd advise against it.
Yeah.
The biscuits alone will. Yeah, Trav got a good photo of me.
I'm so hungry looking at that. Look at that.
Oh, they were so good. They were right out of the oven. Oh. The shameful thing on it is that all those nights working graveyards, and there wasn't anything like Loveless to go to. We had Del Taco, which I love Del Taco.
Sure,
but that was pretty much it for us. We had can't think of anything else.
It's probably for the best though.
Probably.
Every time I go to Nashville, I go to Love's, and it's a little bit out of town. It's kind of in the burbs.
Yeah.
And
you go through Brentwood to get
beautiful area, but totally worth the little half-hour trip that it takes to get. And not even that. I think it's less than that to get there. And oh man, the pancakes, they got the waffles. They got
the chicken and waffles.
Yeah, the chicken and waffles, unbelievable. I've had the country fried steak there.
We also went to that. Remember the German place that we always say, "Oh, we ought to go eat there."
Oh, you finally went.
We went.
How was it?
It was phenomenal.
And it was German food, like
it was
bratwurst and stuff like that.
It was everything. They had had this older guy and this older lady. They were up, with the accordion and the trombones and everything, and singing all the chicken dance. They had that big long. What are the big long, like 20-foot horns that you see on like the Ricola commercial?
Oh, right. I could picture them. I don't know what they're called.
Isn't that Swiss, not German?
Ricola. Yeah, I got you.
I don't know.
Yeah, it might be Swiss.
Alpine horns. Is what it's
you know
called.
what we've got?
Horn.
This is what I love about the Pod Mill. Spencer and the Pod Mill. They're just there with the answers.
Just boom.
I feel like Rogan right now, except
Rogan wishes. Do you hear that, Joe?
Except much poorer and not in shape.
Yeah. Not in shape. We don't have the listener base.
Well, come on. Now you're cutting low.
We're about half. Mm-hmm. No, but it was really good. I had what were they called? Reuben rolls. Where it was basically a Reuben wrapped up and deep fried.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Phenomenal.
Yeah. Whew. If you haven't been to Nashville, and headquarters of the National FOP, of course, in Nashville. Million reasons to go. Titans game,
Predators game. Mm-hmm. They were out of town, of course.
Yeah, it's kind of, and it's really grown in a way. It's kind of the Vegas of country western, because you've seen there are a lot of acts and shows, and not in a bad way. I'm not talking about that seedy side of Vegas. It just woke Travis up over there in a corner. Yeah, I don't know. He's complaining.
The best part about the week is the training is awesome, but the networking. Mm-hmm. The networking and being in some of those classes, it just kind of reconnects you. We had a couple of committee presentations of the committees that I'm on. Those are okay, but it's disaster relief and recruiting. A lot of good info, and Rich and Jason did a good job presenting them. But probably the best one that I went to was probably from our national chaplain, Rick Snyder.
Oh yeah, love that guy.
If you don't remember Rick, he's the sergeant from Indianapolis, PD, and in Vegas at the opening day of the conference, he found out his daughter was killed in a car wreck in Florida. Yep. And just watching Rick through that whole thing, both before and
I don't
after,
know how he did it.
I don't either.
For those of you that weren't in Vegas, here he had just learned about his kid, and he stood up and he addressed everybody. Everybody, invited him to God. And I couldn't believe he had the strength to do it. But he did. And
even during that week, there were some guys that were going through some things, and he was reaching out to them. I think I don't know how I would do in that situation, but I'm pretty sure that it's not how Rick is.
Yeah.
I think the tendency is to kind of isolate and just kind of, there's a lot to figure out. But Rick was immediately back into the throes of just checking on everybody. And he's got
Selfless.
He's got a podcast that it's really good, and what he does on it is he intertwines so his whole thing, or the stool of law enforcement, and how he should be in one of those legs. You got the physical, the emotional, and then the spiritual. And in fact, that's what his class was on. It was on recognizing the spiritual side of things, even if you're not religious.
Yeah.
And it was phenomenal. It was standing room only in the class, and just everything that he talks about, and it's presented in a way. I mean, he's a street cop. He was a patrol sergeant, in a pretty rough area,
yeah,
of Indianapolis. He talked about one of his guys that was shot on a call, and just the care and the fallout and all the things that roll through your mind, and all the after effects and things like that. And it's I think for a lot in that room, it was two things. One, it was kind of a wake up call of, it's important to tap into that spiritual side of things. And if you haven't been, it's that old Chinese proverb, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. Second best time is today.
Right now.
And that was his message. Yeah. And the other part of it was that we have a special job to do. We have these things. If you remember, we just had our Black and Blue Gala, and Governor Huntsman, Ambassador Huntsman
he was there,
was our guest, and he gave a short speech, but it was all those things that he touched on. That law enforcement, it is that line. It's that, and I don't know that the general public understands. I think they're getting more of a glimpse now in today's world.
That society literally doesn't work. It stops cold without us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's that delicate of a balance. I mean, you can talk about climate change and destroying the earth, all that stuff, whether you believe it or don't believe it, doesn't really matter. Because if society fails, if that line that separates the chaos from order, if that's broken, then it doesn't matter if the planet climbs 3 degrees.
Right.
And so it's kind of refocusing and getting that. It was one of those classes that you didn't want it to end.
Yeah. I thought
he
he did
easily
a great
could have gone
job.
another 2 hours.
He's a great guy. Every time I've spoken to him, it's just been,
And his podcast is called Remnant Revealed.
Oh,
Remnant Revealed.
On that the spiritual stuff you were talking about, we did an episode late last year where we talked about not just church stuff, but just spirituality in general, and the need for more of that on the job, and just in our approach to dealing with others. And it was interesting. I got phone calls. I don't even think I mentioned this to you, but guys that I wouldn't even say are overtly religious, not even necessarily a member of my faith, but who reached out to me and said, that was the best episode I've heard out of all of them. And I mean, I guess I shouldn't be surprised, but I was a little bit, because it just signifies to me that there are aspects of the unseen that everybody needs in their lives, regardless of where you are sort of in your religious beliefs, or if you're affiliated with one group or another. Everybody sort of needs that, and it's the part of humanity that connects all of us. And when you approach your job with that in mind, even on the streets, it can change your perspective on what you're doing as a police officer.
Yeah, I think there's something that really rings true about having that third element for your wellness. I remember when I was brand new, I had this advice: hey, if you're a churchgoer, continue. If you're not, start. And And the guy that told me this, he's like, hey, look, I don't care what church you go to, but you got to believe that there's something better out there than just what we deal with. And I read this the other day that this man was talking about, he loves football. And he said, I pulled out a videotape of, and that shows how old this is, but he pulled out a VHS of a recorded game of his alma mater. So he put it in just to see. And as he's watching it, he could see that his team was getting creamed, and he's like, I remember this game that they came back and won. And he said, if you're watching this video and you're seeing that your team's being creamed, but at the end you know that they win, it's not so bad. You sit there and you think, oh man, that's almost comical that they're doing so poorly, and that the other team thinks that that they've even got a chance to win, knowing that your team's going to win. And so it is with us. We're taught we're never don't lose a fight. You just do whatever it takes to win the fight. And I believe that here in law enforcement that we have the ability that we are actually fighting evil, and that it's good versus evil. And the personalities of who we are, we're not going to lose that fight. And that we know with that knowledge that we may laugh at some things as they come up.
Tell prom jokes
and that sort of thing.
I feel so guilty.
You even think about it, in terms of you're on the street and you get into a fight and it's a scary thing. But when you're all kind of licking your wounds back at 7-Eleven and high-fiving and saying, man, that was awesome. I can't believe that you actually did that, or that you screamed that, or, that guy bit your finger as you're fighting him. Like you're laughing at all the things that it wasn't funny when you were going through it. But if we have that mentality that we're going to win this overall, society's not going to crumble because we're not going to let it. You have that little bit more of an optimistic look, and with an optimistic view, you're not going to get down as much as what you would otherwise.
Yeah. Well, that's I think that's what's hard about a profession full of type A personalities. Some type B's and C's, sprinkled in there, but for the most part, I mean, very, very type A is that one, we can be pessimistic about stuff, and it spreads like wildfire. Optimism is also contagious, and sometimes those things that we attribute to, being a seasoned veteran, you're seasoned if you're cynical and stuff like that. While that may be true, it doesn't mean that it's healthy. We used to use it as kind of like a check mark, okay, I'm cynical, I'm this and that. Okay. Yeah. Now I'm a good cop.
You guys are all probably too young to remember this, but maybe some of the people in this room are old enough, but okay. Jimmy Carter, all right, it was late 70s, and there wasn't enough money to run the air conditioning at the post office. Like everything was there were gas lines. I don't know if you remember.
I was 7, but.
Okay. Well, I think I think the gas lines were in 76.
Then I was 3.
Yeah. It was a while ago, but I remember waiting in, I'm in the back of the LTD station wagon, wood paneling on the side, waiting in line to go fuel up. And the only thing that changed between Jimmy Carter's administration and Ronald Reagan's administration was optimism. Ronald Reagan came in and he started saying everything is going to be great, and America is the greatest nation in the world, and it's going to be awesome, and the economy is going to be awesome. And it was, people, and I'm not trying to get ultra political in this, but I'm really focusing in on just the mentality, the change in the mentality from one administration to the next, and how much of an influence it had over millions of people. They started believing it. And the people that I know that started businesses around that time, they flourished in the 80s. Anyway, you reminded me of that, but I'm old. So
only a couple of years.
I got you by
12, 13
years. Come
Months.
on, bro.
Months.
Oh, okay. Yeah, maybe months. Maybe
Yeah.
months. I think Travis is the old one in the room.
He is.
Let's not talk about it. It's elder abuse. Yeah. What is he, 60? Gotta be. Just see the look on his face. He's like, that was way too close to home.
No, it's good. In fact, we were commenting the other day about if I had to go back and do it all over again, I would still choose the same profession.
Yeah.
You know, I would still. There are some decisions that
okay, let me stop you right there. If you went back and did it again, here's a harder question. If you were starting today in 2024, would you choose this career?
Yeah, I'd be smarter about it.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, here's the thing is that we're judging today based off what we know about the past.
Mm-hmm.
The guys coming into the profession, they don't have anything to judge against.
They don't know how.
They don't know life before body
Yeah.
cameras and car cameras and all these things. They're stepping into the profession now and adapting to it now. And I think that's where some of our pessimism can, you know, in reliving the old days and, you know, and things like that. I was talking to a guy the other day that has to go back through the academy, you know, wants to get back in and finish out, and because it's been so long,
Yeah.
he's got to go back through. And he said something that really kind of stood out. And he said that he's actually looking forward to it so that he can get a sense of how today's cops are being trained,
Mm-hmm.
and be able to adapt to that rather than going, well, when I was in it before, we did it this way. And it's like, well, that's great.
Yeah.
You know, thanks for the stroll down memory lane, but we don't do it
Things
that
have
way
changed.
anymore. You know, so there's a lot of good to still be done.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of evil that still needs to be combated,
Yeah.
and you know, somebody's got to do it.
Right.
You know, I used to be hell-bent that my kids wouldn't be in law enforcement. And I'd still prefer that they're not. But my little 5-year-old, he turned 5 yesterday, and he's kind of a funny kid. He's very particular, and he doesn't want to come. He doesn't want to meet new people. He doesn't want to experience new things, but he always wants to have a police sticker on his shirt. And when he has that police sticker on his shirt, he sees it as, this can help me be brave, is what he says.
Yeah.
And, you know, he says that he wants to be a police officer when he grows up, among other things. And I used to discourage that and think, you know, that I would never want my kid to be a cop. But I think this profession, you can be the best dad ever, or you can be a worse dad. And we have the ability with our schedules. We work, you know, more of a truncated schedule than most people do. With our benefits that we get to provide for our families in a pretty good way. The raises that we get, the insurance, the education benefits, all of that stuff that we can provide for our families in a good way. The first several years of my family, my kids didn't think I had a job, and it was great because I was there when they went to bed, and I'd go to work, and then I'd come back before they got up. And it was the best thing, is dad was a stay-at-home dad, and I miss those days of being able to do that. And I think we have that ability to do that. And so at this point, I don't think that I'm too much on the side of discouraging my kids from getting into this job or a similar job where they can be to all the baseball games, they can be to the basketball games, they can be there to the dance recitals, because working graveyards, sometimes it's fun, but it's hell on the body.
Well, when in the history of, you know, America did we need better cops than we need right now?
Absolutely.
You know,
Well,
I mean, we need to be excited about this profession, and the profession offers a lot. And I'm not just talking about the, you know, things like pay and some of the other things that have gone up in recent years, but, you know, we need people that care about their communities enough to make the sacrifice to do this job. And how are they going to do that if the old guys are like, I would never, you know, I mean, we have to be better than that.
yeah, I mean, we need to be about providing advice on the things that we've learned.
Yeah.
You know, like your family stuff is important.
Right.
You know, family vacation is more important than that case. You know,
it'll be there when you get back.
It'll be there when you get back. I missed out on a couple of family vacations. My kid's been to Disneyland twice. I've never been with them.
You didn't miss anything.
Oh, I know. I know. Luckily, the in-laws paid the bill. I didn't, but they have these memories, and I'm not in them.
Yeah.
Because I was working, because I thought, okay, the chief or the captain or the lieutenant said, oh, this case is really important,
Right.
whatever. And it's like, nothing is more important than your family. And I don't care what anybody says, because I've been there.
Right.
Thousands and thousands and thousands of others have been there too. And it's just not true.
Yeah.
And so I think in that light, if my son wanted to get into law enforcement, there'd be that trepidation of, and not even so much on the physical security side, it's on the emotional and spiritual side of it, because I know where I had my hardest moments, and it's like, oh man, if you can do the job and not do that, then you'll be okay. Yeah. But if so I think that's why
we have good tools now. Yeah, you're talking about wellness. I mean, we talk about things that they never spoke about, 20 years ago.
Yep.
And thank goodness for that. So yeah, we have to we have to encourage young people to consider this, not just for the good of the community, but it is and can be just an absolutely stellar career, second to nothing I can imagine in the workforce. And some of my proudest moments and most exciting moments and most satisfying have been as a police officer. Even though I've only ever been a hobby cop, I've had some great experiences out there. But what do we miss, Travis? You're back there. You're curious and confused at the number of topics we covered in such a short time. Yeah, we really went around the world with that one. Started a little bit iffy, but I think it got to a good place. I think we pulled it off in the end. Yeah. I still need to apologize to a young lady that I wasn't even thinking about my real prom day when I said that. I mean, she was
training. We're coming for you.
No, listen, she's a beautiful, beautiful girl, and I don't keep, and for the record, I don't keep in touch with her. So Jen's going to listen to this. Going, who is this girl? I don't know. I don't remember.
I love it.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, let's wrap this. That was, we had a serious one, and then this one was, I don't know.
We're all over the place.
We're all over the place, but hopefully somebody's paying attention out there, and hopefully you're not sleeping in your patrol car. If you are, give a call to the firm, 801-981-8779. Anyway, enough about that. All right. Be good out there. Be safe. And anyway, we're thinking about you. Take care.